The European Union has unveiled its latest and most forceful sanctions package against Russia to date, targeting energy flows, banking transactions, and the Kremlin's elusive oil shadow fleet. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, announced the new measures on June 10th are part of a sweeping effort to drain Russia's financial lifelines as its war in Ukraine grinds on.
Russia's goal is not peace, it is to impose the rule of might. Therefore, we are ramping up pressure on Russia because strength is the only language that Russia will understand. Therefore, we are now proposing an 18th package of hard-biting sanctions. We're targeting basically two sectors, the Russian energy sector and the Russian banking sector. We're widening export bans and controls, and we strengthen the anti-circumvention measures. Let me first go on the topic of energy. For the first time, we propose a transaction ban for Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. This means that no EU operator will be able to engage directly or indirectly in any transaction regarding the Nord Stream pipelines. There is no return to the past. We also propose to lower the oil price cap from $60 to $45 per barrel. Since the oil cap was introduced in 2023, oil prices have gone down. They now trade very close to the cap level. By lowering the cap, we adapt it to changed market conditions and restore its effectiveness.
It's two questions. One is a follow-up, because you say, Madam President, you say...
In addition, to better enforce the cap, on top of the 342 vessels already listed, we list today additional 77 vessels that are part of the Russian shadow fleet. These vessels are a means to evade sanctions. With our listings, we severely constrain Russia's options to export its oil through a shadow fleet. Mike. We're targeting the Russian banking sector by limiting its ability to raise funding and conduct transactions. We propose to transform the existing prohibition to use the SWIFT system into a full transaction ban. And we propose to apply such a transaction ban to another 22 Russian banks. We also propose to extend the transaction ban to financial operators in third countries that finance trade to Russia in circumvention of sanctions. And we also propose to sanction the Russian Direct Investment Fund, its subsidiaries and its investment projects. In this way, an important channel for financing projects to modernize the Russian economy and strengthen its industrial base will be strictly limited. Now, the third point is that we propose further export bans worth more than 2.5 billion euros. This ban deprives the Russian economy of critical technology and industrial goods. So we're targeting machinery, metals, plastics and chemicals. They are used as raw materials in industry. And we also restrict the export of dual-use goods and technologies that are used for producing drones, missiles and other weapon systems. We want to make sure that Russia does not find ways to modernize its weapons with European technologies.
We know that you have been in contact with the United States to coordinate this package on sanctions, but...
With this package, we step up pressure on Russia. Our objective is very clear. We are reiterating the call for a full, unconditional ceasefire of at least 30 days. This pause in hostilities could serve as a vital step towards reducing civilian suffering, allows space for meaningful talks for a genuine peace.
Good afternoon. This context where we adopt this package today is very, very stark. It is clear that Russia does not want peace. Nothing suggests that Russia is ready for peace. On the contrary, Russia is escalating its war in Ukraine.
The Americans know as well as all of us in G7 that the oil price has lowered so much that the effectiveness of the cap is to be questioned. And therefore, we all want to lower the oil price from $60 per barrel down to $45 per barrel. Very much looking forward to that. My assumption is that we do that together as G7. We have started that as G7. It was successful as a measure from the G7, and I want to continue this measure as G7.
At the heart of the proposed sanctions is a ban on transactions with the Nord Stream pipelines, an attempt to permanently halt future flows of Russian energy into Europe. In addition, the EU plans to lower the price cap on Russian oil from $60 to $45 per barrel, restoring the economic pressure that had waned as oil prices fell since the cap was first introduced in 2023. The proposal also takes aim at Russia's financial infrastructure and maritime tactics. It expands restrictions on Russian banks. It targets the shadow fleet, a network of aging oil tankers, often unregistered or registered under flags of convenience, used by Russia to evade sanctions. 77 more vessels will be blacklisted under the new package, on top of the 300 ships already sanctioned by the EU. To some extent, it's a mouse and a cat chase, said Ignacy Niemczycki, Poland's deputy EU affairs minister, in an interview Tuesday during a press tour on the Baltic Sea, where activity by the shadow fleet has been escalating. We're adding more vessels to the list, and they are adding more vessels. The sanctions package must still be debated and passed by EU member states. If approved, it would be the 18th sanctions package issued by Brussels since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Kaja Kallas, the EU's top diplomat, reinforced that message, confident every sanction weakens Russia's ability to fight. She said recent measures targeting the shadow fleet were beginning to show results. Von der Leyen noted that the EU and the United States remain confident, very much aligned, in bringing Russia to the negotiating table. The oil price cap, however, is a G7 measure, and the proposed cut to $45 will be discussed at next week's G7 summit in Canada. Meanwhile, in Washington, Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina, is working on an expansive new U.S. sanctions package, though it remains unclear whether President Trump will support the legislation. There is ongoing debate over the effectiveness of sanctions. While Russia's economy contracted sharply in 2022, it rebounded due to high military spending and expanded trade with countries like China. Still, EU officials maintain that their sanctions strategy is working, and that tightening it will amplify the impact. Firm, this is about economic pressure and moral clarity, von der Leyen.